With Survivor Series War Games officially in the books, it's time now to go over and give you my review and results of this Survivor Series PLE. Overall, I thought the matches on this show were pretty good, especially the War Games match at the end. The War Games match at the end, I think we'll cover at the end of this video. We'll start off here with the women's side of the War Games match, which featured a lot of women, but essentially it was Team Liv against Team Rhea. I thought the match started off, it was a little slow, but I think picked up the pace towards the middle and towards the end. You had Io Sky. She had like this trash can, and it was like a brightly colored trash can. She put it obviously over the top of her head and jumped off the top of the steel cage. You had Rhea Ripley out there, and she took off her mask and revealed like her scar that was left due to Liv Morgan. And Liv Morgan, you know, she brought out a baseball bat. It was just a car wreck in the good way, you know what I'm saying? And obviously we got the pinfall with Rhea Ripley taking the win over Liv Morgan. So obviously this is gonna probably still set up their match in the eventual future. One thing I didn't really like or didn't really care for in this match was the Tiffany Stratton cash-in, or Tiffany Stratton teased cash-in. I'm over these teased cash-ins, man. I think they suck. I think unless we're actually gonna get a cash-in, I think it's time to put these things to bed, because I mean you're just hyping up the crowd and you're not really giving them anything in return. So I mean I'm not a big fan of them. I wish they would just kind of save it until the eventual cash-in. But overall, yeah, the baby faces went over in this match, as I kind of figured they would. One of my predictions that was wrong was Shinsuke Nakamura against LA Knight. So going into this match, I legit had zero faith that they were going to pull the trigger with Nakamura here. But yeah, I didn't expect Nakamura to come up with the victor here. But yeah, if you would have asked me like a week ago if I thought Nakamura was going to win the United States Championship here, I would have told you, I think you're crazy, man. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that Nakamura is going to walk away with the United States Championship. And I walked away for a little bit. And as soon as I came back, Nakamura was United States champion. I said, wow, I guess they actually did pull the trigger on a Nakamura United States Championship win. Now, does that mean that Nakamura, is he going to be a lengthy United States champion, or is he just going to drop it right back to LA Knight like a month from now? Sort of weird that this title win just kind of came out of nowhere. It just kind of crept up. Right, I would have never guessed that Nakamura was going to be the one to dethrone, so to speak, LA Knight for the United States Championship. But moving on, we also got an Intercontinental Championship match, title defense here tonight between Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. Aside from the War Games matches, I think this was probably the best match of the night. You had so many near falls with people believing that Sheamus was actually going to win the Intercontinental Championship, because there's the story of Sheamus. He's never won the Intercontinental Championship. This is like his last thing on his bucket list that, you know, he could do in WWE. And there were so many like close falls, but at the end, Braun Breaker, you know, he just hulked up, speared Sheamus into next year, and then Braun Breaker walks away with the Intercontinental Championship, which I kind of figured was going to happen. Braun Breaker, I think he'll probably end up losing that title. I say run this match back between Sheamus and Braun Breaker down the line at WrestleMania. I feel like you could tell the story better if it's at WrestleMania, and if you give it that time to tell it. So I feel like this was probably one of the matches of the night, if not the match of the night. Next, we move on to the World Heavyweight Championship between Gunther and Damian Priest. So, like we said, the story of this match is Damian Priest, he's the alpha male, and Gunther, he's sort of losing his edge. So, this kind of created the match between these two, where Gunther was really down on himself, and early on in the match, it was essentially all Priest until Priest sort of tweaks his shoulder. Gunther goes after his shoulder, starts, yanking it, starts pressuring it, whatever. I think this was a pretty good match as well. I feel like Damian Priest has really improved overall on this year. I feel like he's had some banger matches with Gunther and with Drew and whatnot. But the one thing I didn't like about this match was the finish. I kind of figured that maybe Finn Balor would get involved, because Finn Balor is still kind of teasing the fact that he still is going after Damian Priest or whatever. But Finn Balor showed up and essentially cost Priest the match. And then after that, Gunther goes after Finn Balor and sort of, gives him the big boot and is kind of infuriated over the fact that Finn Balor just kind of won the match over for him. So I feel like overall, this was like the match was great, no doubt. But the finish was kind of like a wet fart finish. Like, I don't really know if we had to do that. I don't know how many people are actually interested in a Finn Balor Damian Priest match down the road. I feel like we've kind of seen what we need to see from them before, so I feel like we sort of don't have to revisit that sort of that road, so to speak. But yeah, Gunther's still the world heavyweight champion, and we move on to what was the main event of this 5-match card Survivor Series. Was the Bloodline Civil War Games match. The match started off with Jey Uso and Tama Tonga. They started off this match. A lot of tension, obviously, between the OG Bloodline, mainly between Roman and Punk, because obviously the commentators were kind of playing it up that, the new Bloodline, they're coming out and they're all united, right? They all stand together. They come out. They know that Solo is their leader. They know that they all acknowledge Solo. But on the other side, Roman and Jimmy and Jay and everybody on the OG Bloodline side, they're kind of at odds with each other because they don't know if they can really trust if they can trust each other, if they could trust Roman Reigns, if they could trust CM Punk. They don't really know if they could trust anyone at this point. So you really had that factored in. And also, the two guys that really stood out in this match for me were Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed, because obviously Jacob Fatu is like an absolute beast, a monster. And Bronson Reed, there was a cool spot here where Bronson Reed set up Roman Reigns on a table, and he goes all the way to the top of the steel cage, and he's gonna jump off when last second CM Punk saves him, pulls him off the table, pulls Roman Reigns off the table. Bronson Reed goes crashing down. It looked like a hard ass hit. Bronson Reed hit down the mat so hard. I said, God damn. I said, but overall in this match, there was a lot of tension teasing between Punk and Roman. It was Punk's turn to go when Roman sidesteps him and lets Sami Zayn go ahead. And same thing with Punk. He goes ahead first before Roman. So there's a lot of tension here. And eventually this kind of brings down Paul Heyman. He kind of tells both of these men, he says, like, he kind of gives them like a pep talk from the outside. Like, we need to be united. We need to stand together. If not, we fall. And this is enough for both of these guys to get on the same page, if not for tonight. And of course, there was a lot of cool spots here. Jimmy Uso took out, I think it was Jacob Fatu on a table. He put him through the table. Uso splash. This left Solo Sikoa, the only remaining Bloodline member, to stare down at everybody from the OG side, including CM Punk. And everybody gave him their finish. And Roman Reigns gave him a spear, and he covered him 1, 2, 3. And the original Bloodline is victorious here at Survivor Series, posed all around the cage and in the entrance ramp. And I think everybody at this point was kind of expecting The Rock to return. I know I kind of was. I sort of heard rumblings about a possible Rock return. But at the end, there was no Rock return, and there was a part in the finale where everybody's coming down. They're coming outside of the cage. They're greeting Paul Heyman. Punk hugs Paul Heyman and essentially tells him, like, I'm gonna need this favor, so whenever I need this favor, I'm gonna come calling to you. I'm paraphrasing, but I think that was what the gist was. So my initial kind of thought after that was, okay, I think the favor now is that I think Roman Reigns eventually, if he wins back his undisputed championship, Punk is gonna want a first crack at that. So I don't know if that means eventually we're gonna get a Roman Cody match, or if that means something else. Also, something else that was kind of noted on commentary by Michael Cole was the fact that, even though Solo lost here tonight, he's still the tribal chief, right? He still has the Ulafala. I think this is kind of signaling the fact that we may get a potential Roman Solo match, possibly at like Saturday night's main event for the Ulafala. But yeah, man, that was Survivor Series War Games 2024. Let me know what you guys think down below. Your initial thoughts. Were you expecting The Rock? What did you think of the 2 Survivor Series War Games matches? And until next time, y'all, take care. I'll see y'all later.